You're not just walking through life. You're not just waking up every day, clocking in, clocking out, trying to keep your head above water. No, there's something much bigger going on. And if you could truly see it, if you could grasp what's actually happening in the unseen, your posture would change, your energy would change, your expectations would explode. Because you are being pursued, you are being chased, not by fear, not by lack, not by failure. You are being chased by goodness, by favor, by opportunities that you didn't even know had your name on them. Think about that. While you're worrying about how to make ends meet, how to take the next step, how to recover from that setback, there is a current of blessing moving toward you with relentless momentum. This isn't passive. This isn't maybe someday. This is an active, living force, God's goodness, and is on your trail right now. It doesn't matter if you feel qualified or not, whether your track record is spotless or messy. Favor doesn't need your perfection to find you. It only needs your willingness to believe that it's already in motion. Some people go through life thinking they've got to run hard enough, hustle long enough, prove themselves over and over just to get a small taste of good things. They treat life like it's this uphill battle where they have to convince God, the universe, whatever they believe in, that they deserve a break. But that's not how this works. God's goodness isn't waiting for you to tick every box before it shows up. It's not a paycheck you earn. It's an inheritance that's been chasing you from the day you were born. And here's the twist most of the time. You don't even see it coming. You're in the middle of the struggle, thinking the walls are closing in, when suddenly a door opens you didn't knock on. Someone calls with an opportunity you didn't ask for. A resource you needed shows up at the exact moment you were about to quit. And you stand there saying, I can't believe this happened. But that's the thing. You weren't supposed to make it happen. You were supposed to stay in motion, keep your heart open, and let the goodness that's been chasing you finally catch up. Now, here's the part most people miss. Goodness doesn't just want to visit you, it wants to overtake you. It's not just chasing so it can give you one blessing and move on. This is about a shift in your life where favor becomes your normal, not your exception. Where unexpected doors stop being a rare miracle and start being your daily reality. But you've got to stop living like you're abandoned, like you've been left to figure it all out on your own. The chaser is still behind you, even if you can't hear its footsteps yet. I want you to picture it. You, right now, in whatever season you're in, maybe you're tired, maybe you're in a fight, maybe you've been running so long from disappointment that you've forgotten how to run toward anything at all. And behind you, closer than you think, is wave after wave of divine goodness, carrying healing, carrying restoration, carrying that one phone call, that one introduction, that one open door that's going to shift your entire trajectory. Every step you take, it takes two. Every move you make, it accelerates. And sooner or later, you're going to have to stop looking over your shoulder for the wrong things and start realizing what's actually coming. But here's the danger. You can be so focused on surviving that you miss it when it arrives. You can be so busy bracing for impact that you don't recognize when the impact is good. You've got to tune your mind, your heart, your energy to start expecting the chase to end in your favor. Expect the phone call. Expect the opportunity. Expect the breakthrough. Because expectation pulls the goodness in faster. Let me tell you something. There's no shortage of blessing with your name on it. There's no shortage of favor with your fingerprint on it. The shortage only exists in your belief that it's possible. You've been conditioned by past disappointments to think the best is behind you. But the reality is the best has been following you, waiting for the right moment to break in. You didn't miss it. You're not too late. The chase is still happening. So what do you do right now? You keep moving forward. You wake up tomorrow and you step into the day like someone who's got goodness at their back. You face the challenges like someone who knows they are outnumbered by favor. You walk into rooms like someone who knows doors are about to open. You don't shrink. You don't second guess. You don't slow down. Because the moment you start expecting, anticipating, and welcoming that goodness, you're going to turn around one day and realize it caught you. And when it does, your life will never look the same. Life has this way of hitting us with moments we never saw coming. A job loss, a relationship ending, a door slamming shut so hard you feel like the wind's been knocked out of you. And in that moment, it's easy to think, this is it. This is the end. I'm stuck. I'm broken. I'm done. But what if I told you that the very thing you thought was a dead end is actually a runway? That what you're calling the worst chapter of your life might be the exact setup for the greatest breakthrough you've ever seen. I know it's hard to see in the middle of the storm, but every setback is a setup for something greater. Every closed door is a redirection, not a rejection. And when you start to understand this, when you really let it sink in, it changes how you show up when life tries to knock you down. You stop asking, why is this happening to me? And start asking, how is this happening for me? That's not just a mindset shift. That's a power shift. Think about the most painful moment you've ever been through. Maybe it was a betrayal. Maybe it was a failure that left you embarrassed and questioning yourself. In that moment, you couldn't see anything good in it. But looking back now, can you see how it pushed you in a direction you never would have gone on your own? Can you see how it broke you out of comfort zones you didn't even realize were cages? That's what I'm talking about. The pain wasn't the end. It was the push. Here's the truth. God's goodness doesn't always show up in the form of comfort. Sometimes it shows up disguised as discomfort that forces you to grow. It shows up as an obstacle that strengthens you, as a delay that positions you, as a loss that clears space for something better. And if you can learn to hold on through that moment, if you can trust that there's a bigger picture unfolding, you will see that what was to break you actually built you. Now, don't get me wrong, I'm not saying you have to pretend it doesn't hurt. Pain is real. Loss is real. The sting is real. But you don't have to camp out there. You don't have to make your identity the thing you went through. You can take the hit, feel it, and still decide, I'm not stopping here. This is not where my story ends. That decision, right there in the middle of the setback, is what creates the setup. And here's what's wild most of the time. The blessing that comes after is so much greater than anything you thought you lost. You almost feel foolish for how hard you fought to hold on to the old thing. You start to realize that the delay was protection, the closed door was redirection, and the breakdown was the exact thing that cleared the path for the breakthrough. I've seen it over and over. Someone loses a job and feels crushed, only to get an offer a month later for a role that changes their life. Someone gets rejected by one person, only to meet the one they were truly meant to build a future with. Someone's business collapses, and in rebuilding, they create something that not only succeeds, but finally aligns with who they really are. That's a random. That's divine timing. And listen, there's going to be a temptation to quit before you see it. There's going to be a voice in your head saying, this is pointless. It's over. That voice will sound convincing because it's echoing your fears. But that's when you've got to push forward, even if it's just one small step. Because while you're moving, something bigger than you is moving too. The setup is already happening. You just haven't seen the full picture yet. Imagine this, you're looking at a puzzle, and all you see is the one broken piece in your hand. You're staring at it, turning it over, thinking it doesn't fit anywhere. But there's a whole table full of pieces being put together just out of your sight, and the piece you're holding, it's not broken. It's not useless. It's exactly the shape needed for the spot that will complete the picture. That's what setbacks are like. They don't make sense in isolation, but they make perfect sense in the whole story. So right now, whatever you're going through, I want you to hear me. This is not wasted. This pain, this challenge, this loss is not the end of you. It is part of a setup that is going to position you for something better than you can imagine. And when that moment comes, when you're standing in the blessing that your setback led you to, you're going to look back and realize it didn't just happen for you. It happened through you. The setback is not the end. It's the turning point. Fear is one of the most powerful forces you'll ever face, and most people don't even realize how much it's shaping their life. It doesn't just stop you from taking action. It robs you of your ability to even see the opportunities standing right in front of you. Fear makes you focus on everything that could go wrong, and when that's all you're looking for, guess what? That's all you're going to find. You've probably experienced this. You're worried about failing, so you see every challenge as a threat. You're worried about being rejected, so you miss the people who are actually ready to say yes to you. You're worried about running out of resources, so you don't notice the resources that are trying to make their way into your life right now. Fear narrows your vision. It blinds you to possibilities. And when you're living in that state, it's not that goodness isn't chasing you, it's that you can't see it when it's right behind you. Expectation works the opposite way. When you live expecting good things, your mind opens. Your energy shifts. You become more aware, more alert, more in tune with the very opportunities that fear would have hidden from you. Expectation is like tuning your radio to the right frequency. The music was always playing, you just couldn't hear it until you aligned yourself with it. This isn't about wishful thinking. It's about deciding what you're going to focus on and refusing to let fear dictate your vision. Because here's the truth, whatever you expect, you start to prepare for. And whatever you prepare for, you start to attract. If you expect disappointment, you unconsciously prepare for it. You hesitate, you hold back, you play small. But if you expect favor, you prepare in a completely different way. You take bold steps. You show up ready. You create space for blessings to land. I've seen people step into massive breakthroughs simply because they started expecting them. They didn't have all the answers. They didn't even know how it was going to happen. But they shifted their posture. They began to walk into each day with an attitude that said, something good is coming my way today. And because they believed it, they saw it when it showed up. Fear says, don't get your hopes up, you'll just be disappointed. Expectation says, get your hopes up. That's how you'll see the thing you've been waiting for when it arrives. And the difference between those two voices is the difference between a life of constantly missing your moments and a life of catching them as they come. Some of you have been so conditioned by letdowns that you've stopped expecting good things altogether. You've lowered your expectations to avoid the pain of disappointment. But here's the problem. When you lower your expectations, you don't just avoid disappointment, you also block blessings. You become so guarded that even when goodness shows up, you can't receive it fully because you're still bracing for the other shoe to drop. You have to make a decision to flip that script. You have to say, I'm going to live with open hands instead of closed fists. I'm going to believe that what's coming is good, and I'm going to be ready for it when it gets here. That decision will change the way you talk, the way you walk, the way you carry yourself. It will change the way you handle challenges because you'll stop seeing them as signs that things are falling apart and start seeing them as signs that something bigger is being built. And don't underestimate the power of your energy in this. People can feel it. Opportunities can feel it. When you're living in expectation, you give off a signal that says, I'm ready, I'm open, I'm prepared. That signal draws in the right people, the right resources, the right timing. And when they show up, you're not scrambling to get ready. You're already standing there with the door open. It's not that fear will completely disappear. It's that you'll stop letting it drive. You'll feel it, but you'll choose to act in expectation anyway. And every time you do, you reinforce that mindset until it becomes your default setting. So here's what I want you to remember. Fear blocks vision, but expectation sharpens it. Fear makes you shrink, but expectation makes you expand. Fear keeps you scanning for threats, but expectation keeps you scanning for blessings. And the truth is both blessings and challenges are always around you. The question is, which one are you going to be tuned into? Live like the goodness you've been waiting for is already on its way. Because it is. We live in a world that glorifies the hustle. Everywhere you turn, someone's telling you that you've got to grind harder, push longer, work more hours than the next person if you want to succeed. And listen, there's nothing wrong with working hard. Effort matters. But there's a problem when you start thinking you have to outrun the very blessing that's already chasing you. You start living like it's all on your shoulders, like the only way you'll ever see a breakthrough if you sprint without stopping. And in that process, you can end up running right past the thing you've been praying for. Think about that for a second. Sometimes the doors you've been asking to open are right next to you, but you're moving so fast, so locked into your own timeline that you don't even notice them. You're so focused on getting to the next milestone that you miss the opportunities that are showing up right now. It's like running a marathon and blowing past the finish line because you were too busy checking your watch to notice you'd already arrived. The truth is, you're not meant to live in a constant state of chasing. You're meant to move forward with purpose, but also with awareness. Purpose without awareness can leave you exhausted, frustrated, and feeling like no matter how far you run, you're still behind. But when you combine purposeful action with awareness, you start to notice when goodness is catching up to you. You start to see the small signs, the right person coming into your life, the conversation that sparks a new idea, the unexpected resources showing up just when you need them. This is where trust comes in. Trust doesn't mean you sit back and do nothing. It means you work, you prepare, you show up. But you don't live like everything depends on you alone. You give room for the blessing to do its part. You give room for timing to align. You stop thinking you have to manipulate every outcome, and instead, you focus on being ready when the outcome arrives. Here's what's interesting. When you live like this, you actually start to achieve more, not less, because you're not burning yourself out with unnecessary motion. You're not chasing after things that aren't meant for you. You're not forcing doors open that were never yours in the first place. You're moving with intention, and you're positioned to grab hold of what's meant for you the moment it shows up. Too many people run themselves into the ground trying to make something happen on their own timeline, and then when the blessing finally arrives, they're too tired to enjoy it. They've worn themselves out trying to prove they deserve it, forgetting that favor isn't earned through exhaustion. It's received through alignment. And alignment comes from running your race at the right pace, the pace that allows you to notice when the goodness you've been waiting for is right beside you, ready to be received. You've got to know when to push, and you've got to know when to pause. That's not weakness. That's wisdom. Sometimes slowing down for a moment is exactly what allows the blessing to catch up. If you're constantly sprinting from one thing to the next, you're not leaving space for the unexpected to find you. But when you make room, when you leave margin in your life, you give God's goodness a chance to overtake you in ways you never could have orchestrated on your own. This is why being present matters so much. If you're always living in the future, you miss what's available to you in the now. And often, it's the small opportunities that lead to the big breakthroughs. The conversation you almost skipped. The meeting you thought was insignificant. The moment you slowed down long enough to connect with someone who ended up changing your life. Those are the moments where goodness catches you, but you have to be aware enough to recognize them when they come. So yes, run your race, show up with energy, work hard, but don't live like you've got to beat the blessing to the finish line. Because here's the thing, the blessing isn't at the finish line. It's in the journey. It's woven into the process. It's arriving along the way. And if you're moving with the right balance of action and trust, you'll be right there when it shows up.